We thought our closest match of the night was going to be the last one, but perhaps it was actually the first one. If GG takes one more game, then it's all over. We get, you know, 2 3-0s to back-to-back. Thought this series was going to be a lot closer, but it seems to be that Good Game is just another caliber than Raven for the time being.
And going right into set 3, it is going to be Dragonshire. And looks like it will be the same. GG picking the map and Raven choosing the first ban. We'll see. Well, GG has been... I wouldn't say GG has been using their even global heroes super perfectly. It was just Raven actually not like corresponding to the right moves.
Yeah, they're not really able to respond very well to these turret pushes. The team fighting has been a little bit off. Like, I do feel that, you know, the coordination could be improved in terms of using heroics together. So, I mean, that's the general consensus for the first 2 games. And what Good Game is doing when they take a lead is they're just playing carefully and capitalizing, kind of doing this choke-out style, like almost Anaconda style, where they push all the lanes and eventually force Raven to make mistakes. Here's a change. Raven's going to take the Tassadar away. This may mean they want to just grab Falstad. I think that's what we're going to see here. So they're just going to try to do this, what I like to call a throwaway ban, to grab first pick Falstad.
And if they pick Falstad, they can... GG can just take the Haka again and just have the same global. That will trade off pretty nicely, and I actually favored the Haka over Falstad because the Haka can actually join the fight so much faster in a way, and also can come from the back without the opponent actually knowing that the Haka will come from the back, where Falstad has to fly in, and you can kind of see where Falstad is flying in from.
Yeah, that's why we've seen a lot of preemptive routes on Falstad fly-in locations, because it's broadcast and it's telegraphed. So you can predict exactly where he's going to land and then kind of counter that. Same with stage dive. We saw Meride countering that earlier as well. Hamlin has played 1 game of Falstad this entire season, so there's that. He's not really a Falstad player. Like, this team doesn't really prioritize that, so this is a big change.
And also, another reason why Tychus is highly up in the draft is also because Vala is going down, and there's not much of a DPS. You can't really pick Raynor into here, and also Tychus is one of the more tankier and constant damage. You can just melt down the tanks easier and faster.
The armor that is resistant that his Odin gives, which is now called armor, is, you know, going to make him a lot tankier in team fights as well. We're seeing mostly Odin in this tournament. We've seen a laser drill used here and there, but Odin seems to be growing in popularity, so that makes him sturdier. His DPS is just more reliable than Vala's when Vala doesn't have that secondary support. For Raven here, I think we're going to see Ragnaros, but with what? ETC potentially? Sergeant Hammer. So trying to lock down that DPS early, and Rag's still available, maybe banned here in this banning phase. I think there's a high chance of that.
Or they can go around and just ban a support like Rehgar or even a Kerosene here.
Sure. I'm more referring to Raven banning it against GG, but yeah, I mean, I think GG is going to look for the support. Looking at the Morales right now as well.
Well, Stim Drone Sergeant Hammer did work for SMT, but maybe Raven wants to do that one more time. Maybe they have scrim results against Raven, who knows. But that if it actually becomes a Morales ban, that will be a snipe ban.
Yeah, it's also definitely somewhat of a global if you just use it for medevac. We don't really see that, but you know, it's a thing, something that you have to keep in mind. It would be a really interesting targeted ban. Like, if I see the Morales here, it tells me one of 2 things. Either Good Game really knows their style and that they have this insanely smart ban, or they really don't know and they're just trying. They're like, this is a strong ban here because of the comp I'm up against, and like, just gonna take this. Varian gets banned here, which leaves Ragnaros available.
Yeah, pretty smart ban choice, I would say. leaving GG's front line pretty weak against. They still have the Haka open. The Haka and ETC is taken, or Muradin is also pretty good.
I mean, we talked about this in the previous set. The problem with going Dahaka and Ragnaros is you kind of get stuck in this position where you don't really have a solid tank. So I think they're caught in this position where they have to choose between the global and the somewhat global ability of Ragnaros on his Molten Core.
They can also go around a little bit and go with Tyrael just to be safe, just to keep Tychus and Malfurion alive a little bit more. Also a great Shriner at top lane or bottom lane if you choose to.
Li Ming is still available too. I'm really leaning towards the Dahaka picked here, to be honest. It's been really strong for them so far. There it is with Gul'dan instead of the Li Ming, so that mage damage. And Dahaka is also a good squatter. I've like created this term and I like it. I'm just like gonna keep using it because I think it's the best way to describe a hero like Dahaka or Chen or Tannis that just simply holds the shrine. And that's why I favor him specifically over Rag in this case. They could still go Ragnaros as their 5th pick. And if it's left available to them, I just feel like it leaves something to be desired. And I'd rather they pick a more traditional tank.
And also depending on, I think GG is going to go for more damage from the back line or to the side, because Tychus is a bit more tanky, and the Haka can soak up a lot of damage when they have Tychus himself. So, and Raven, they do have a lot of range damage, but not so much of a melee damage. So GG, if the Haka just picks one out, they can get a pick and start the fight. And it looks like it's going to be Karazim and Thrall.
So solo support Karazim for the Thrall. This is a big risk. An H82's Thrall, we've seen it do well in the 1v1 matchup in top lane, but outside of that, it hasn't been the most impressive. It's one of his most played heroes. But actually, he's only played it twice this season. He played it a lot in previous seasons. His most played is Ragnaros currently. 4 games played. 0-4 on the hero, unfortunately, and Artanis. So for GG here, I think they're really just giving some consideration to Muradin and Johanna. And I mean, I guess it is theoretically possible they could pick Ragnaros here. I just don't think that they will, considering that that would leave them really weak in terms of frontlining heroes. Because Ragnaros just really cannot do that. They're going to take Muradin. And the comps are set, G-Clef. This could be the last game. Does Raven have it in them?
We'll see. It looks like GG definitely has a tankier front line, and also back line's having enough damage, I think. Raven has too much damage, but we'll see after when we go into game number 3 in Dragonshire. It may be the last game of tonight. If GG wins, that is game over. Let's see if Raven can actually turn this around. Let's go into Dragonshire.
In blue on match point, it's a good game. BDG is on Tychus, Jaehyun's playing Malfurion, Good is on Dahaka, Hooligans on Muradin, and Woojae is on Gul'dan.
In red, Raven, Joju on Karazim, Hamelin on Falstad, NMX on Sergeant Hammer, DeYoung on ETC, and H82 on Thrall.
I feel like I keep seeing these really similar compositions out of Raven. And they feel strong, they feel solid in terms of, if I looked with a blindfold at their compositions, I go, okay, this makes sense, like this is all right. I'm a little bit worried about the solo heal for the Thrall, but he's got a little bit of self-sustain. But I just feel like in execution, there's something missing. It's like they haven't quite hit their stride yet as a 5-man.
Yeah, to me, it feels old in a way. Their draft, it was very common in the older, like half a year ago, maybe July of 2016, This is 2017 in the different meta where we do not see too much melee heroes like Thrall. We did see, and then we actually saw Thrall winning today. But Raven, they have not won a single game in HGC Korea yet.
Not a single one. And this could be their first.
Yep, it can.
It could be. Let's see if they can make it happen here. In terms of the way this match is going to go, I think the early game needs to be dominated by Raven. They need to be aggressive with ETC, which we're seeing right now. You can see on the minimap, ETC needs to be aggressive. I want to see DeYoung looking for picks, and I want to see them dominate when they have double globals. When they have ETC's stage dive and Falstad's fly, how can they pressure lanes? How can they seal the objectives? That's going to be how they win this game, with simply out of the fact they have pure globals alone. I don't think they're going to be able to win this game while behind if they are just trying to win it from team fights. They have some cool things they could do. If they go for Mosh Pit, for example, I don't think they will, but if they do, that's one way. They also will have Sundering available to get some picks like that. But I want to see them try to take this game early, snowball a lead.
Yeah, which exactly they're doing with NMX on top, along with H82. They're focusing very hard, and ETC has been just soaking EXP on the bottom lane.
The problem with what they're doing here is, in my opinion, like, in the top lane, they've kind of lane swapped here, right? They've essentially said, okay, top lane's a solo lane, and I'm going to bully Dahaka, and I'm going to do fort damage here. The problem is that they haven't ever collapsed to punish the rotation here by GG. So GG is like, okay, I'll do the same to you, except ETC is even worse wave clear than Dahaka. We have more pushing power, so we're actually going to win this race. We're going to win the lane swap, and that's fine. They're only going to win it slightly, but they win it. I feel like if they had used ETC to roam a little bit and maybe did 2 against Dahaka instead of 3, they'd get more value out of the ETC pick. Wow, we're even going to see GG invade this camp because they pushed this so hard.
Yeah, and it's going to take a long time for Karazim to actually come down.
He's kind of zoned up there, you know?
Yep, and Karazim is about to join. Let's see if Raven can actually take their own camp. It looks like it is going to be stolen.
Hamlin took so much extra damage from that corruption as well. Like, he just walked right into it. So he's actually going to have to Hearth. And this Siege Giant push is going to go all the way onto the keep wall. Look at Hooligan's positioning plus Scouting Drone. They can't get punished for this anymore, even with ETC against them. Hooligan scouts this, makes the call. Everyone's going to get out. Well, will Wujay get out?
Yeah, Wujay seems to, and the great entangle to just stop them from coming in. There's the Haka grabbing onto H82, just blown up. GG now onto the chase and Sergeant Hammer.
This could be a quick game, G-Clef.
Yep,
I mean,
it looks
if this
like
continues like this, I don't have much faith. They had a cool idea with the lane swap. You know, they pressured Dahaka in the top lane, but Good Games responded correctly and took their caps from them, pushed with them, and Hamlin took way too much damage from Gul'dan's corruption there. Had to Hearth, so he wasn't there.
Also, Sergeant Hammer does have an okay win rate in this Korean region, of course, but the sieging. Well, when we basically think of Sergeant Hammer, we think of a sieging hero just on siege mode, just pushing towers. But actually, there are lots of other heroes that can actually push the towers actually so much faster than Sergeant Hammer right now, and you saw that happening from top-bottom trade just between GG and Raven and so many other times. Raven could have just picked Leeming and put NMX on a comfortable hero.
I would agree with that as well, and I just feel like they could have done the 2-man top instead of 3, had ETC for flanks to pressure and threaten the bottom lane, the tri-lane that GG was putting, so that they would basically kind of win on 2 fronts and out-rotate because they have Falstad. They have the ability to kind of go between lanes, and Dahaka's much more limited. He's really the solo laner, so they can't really switch him as easily. He's kind of stuck up there against the 2-man, and you don't really want him to be in the try, so I feel like they could have done a little bit more. But either way, they didn't, and so
yeah.
GG is just running the map. Like, the map is painted blue.
Hamlin did manage to safely fly away from that gank. But GG also, like, naturally, like it was intended, they just went for the camp.
And because he used the flight, now he doesn't have it, and doesn't have 10 either.
And let's see if GG actually can take this keep away, as Dehaka does not have Z available yet, I think.
Well, if he does, he's just trying to save it. I don't even think they need him, to be honest. He's just trying to push their advantage further to 13. He can actually channel the Dragon Knight, and they can go up and take it. Hooligan's already heading that direction. He's going to channel, and H82 is moving in to deny. They have all 5 up, and they're about to have 10. Oh, H82 gets caught, though. Maybe a bit too aggressive.
But that Twilight Dream does not connect, but still, that was just enough. Jaehyun just... Twilight just silenced the air around him.
He almost hit a minion, I think. He almost got him. But doesn't matter. I think just an accidental key click there. He fat-fingered it. It's fine. This happens. They're still massively ahead, which tells the story further of this game.
Well, GG's gonna massively just go in. And then looks like Hamlin's gonna come from the side and gust them right when they hit 10, but there's not much of a follow-up right now. And Dehaka comes around. DTC also comes from the side because he does not have stage dive in his mosh pit.
I just feel like I'm watching Hamlin and Deong multiple times have these amazing setups, but the team isn't ready for it yet. It just doesn't feel coordinated. If they were ready for a follow-up Sundering there, they get 2 picks potentially, but it was just a bit ill-timed there. The idea is good. The execution, the coordination just simply isn't there. And so a Gust and a Flight are wasted. Sundering is still available here. They're only a level down. They're about to be a talent tier down. And they're looking to fight right before that if they can. Don't forget the bot push is real with 2 catapults, soon to be a 3rd. Here's a mosh pit attempt here, but immediately interrupted, and Deong is in trouble. Caught and hooked. Palm looks to be ignored.
Yep, will be totally ignored and goes down, and the entire team of Raven just out of position right now. Hamlin will fly away.
Did that auto hit him? Is he gonna die?
I think it did,
yeah.
and I was actually waiting for that too. And Joju just trying his best to just use his mechanic to stall some more time, but oh, actually he managed to escape, and can he?
Nah, he's not getting out.
No.
Man, this has been a game, G-Clef.
It's just the fried flying chicken going away.
Flying chickens, man.
Yep, and Raven, they had the right choice. Maybe a stage dive could have been a better choice when they were actually pressuring all of GG to go toward rotate to the top. If the ETC had stage dive right into it, that could have been some kills, some chances. But
it just feels like hold that thought as we see the palm here as H82 gets caught in top lane. This seems to be tradition at this point.
Great palm, and Sundering just defensively used to just save himself.
I mean, it's unfortunate to have to use those abilities like that, but I thought it was a pretty good palm overall. It was pretty well timed.
And also Sundering, it's better than dying.
Usually. In this case,
yes.
I would say, or I mean, usually it's not. I think in this case it would be better than dying. Because if he dies here, then maybe they lose like the top keep wall and they lose a Dragon Knight. And it's like, oh, now we can't fight without Sundering. We still have 13, but it's kind of lose-lose. Hope the better way is to just not get caught at all, but this game is so dominated currently by GG. Good is just going to draw some aggro here as they set up this trap. Hamlin first to get seen. Luckily, he does get the barrel away before the stun.
Well, let's see if they can actually manage to throw. Is a little too far away without Thundering available. GG, great horrified to actually disposition NMX. I think Joju and NMX, there's no way of escaping from here.
I think they're going to join each other in the grave as there's nothing for Joju to Radiant Dash to. He dashes to Jaehyun, who does have Twilight Dream, decides not to use it. All right. Well, that was anticlimactic.
It almost looked like he was one of their teammates because he was the only one dashing in.
I'm just like, oh, man. I'm like, Jaehyun's like, oh, I thought you would have died. You're still alive. Okay, well.
My goodness.
My goodness, indeed. Is
almost 2 talent
almost,
down,
for like 1 millisecond maybe.
Yep, and there's the Dragon Knight. GG, they can just, if they want to, they can really go aggressive and take the second wall down and the key possibly even, as Dehaka is also pressuring the top lane.
Well,
and it's just all blue all over the map. Just
yeah.
Raven, they are in trouble, of course. They do not know what to do. Maybe when the palm is back, Hamlin can fly over once more and then try to have that gust right into it. They're actually going to make them disengage.
Okay, Hooligan does get pre-cleansed there on the Sundering, and
so these were kind of the things we were talking about. There was a gust to disengage, but why a Thundering?
Yeah, it's just some discoordination. Like, just seems disjointed and not. It's not fully communicated, perhaps. Like, what we call in like Overwatch old economy, you know, is something that's really important. You need to make sure you have all your heroics together, paired together, and if one gets wasted like this, and suddenly everything can go wrong. And if you use them in conjunction with each other, if you use them together, heroics can be very powerful. But if you stagger them too far away from each other, then what's the point of using them at all? You only need one disengage here, not two. And so now you have two heroics down where your opponent has all 5 available for this push where they have 16 where they're on your keep. I mean, look, I'm being really critical of a team that's insanely down in this game, and they were very much behind, so it's hard to make even anything work. But, I mean, am I really going to be nitpicking like, okay, they're down 9-0, they're down a talent tier, and also they didn't sync up their gusts in the Sundering? Like, I'm not trying to be super critical, but
I think they have a last chance if they actually fly over a gust right into Mosh. That is possible, and somewhat likely if they communicate and actually bring it on the right page. I think they're just not on the right page for the moment. And
yeah, they're not on the same page here, it seems.
Yep, and GG just... They have a... Of course, they with the Haka and Moradin, they have so much more tanky front line, and just having single ETC, look at that, Mosh just instantly cleansed, and Gust was a little bit too late, and let's see how this goes.
MNX barely did any damage in that fight either because he positioned himself really well. We just see another nice palm here from Joju, but it's not going to be enough. MNX just pushed out of that fight, unable to do any damage. Joju looks to escape here as well, but this is a choose your own adventure book for a good game now. They can just simply kill the core by themselves with the catapult, so they can go get the Dragon Knight. They can try to kill the core, back off if it goes poorly, then get the Dragon Knight. Twilight Dream going to blow up Falstad here. 3 dead now, only 2 left. It looks like Good Game is going to take it 3-0, and in this third game, a not so good game, if you will. That is it. GG will take it 3-0. 3 points on the scoreboard, putting their opponent's Raven at a 0-6 score, I believe, or are they 0-9? That's right, 0-9, I should say, as they are dead last at the bottom. And this will put GG at a 1-2 with a 5-6, so -1.
Yep, GG definitely had the higher chance of winning tonight's match, and as they showed, really pressuring the lower teams of the lower teams, I would say. And if you taking into